Thank you, Deputy Fiona.
Thank you, Chairman. I think that in this country we do sorrow, shame and indignation very well. I just wish that we did truth and justice every bit as much. I think it's all the more ironic that today is the International Women's Day, where we celebrate the positive developments that have been made over the last 109 years for women. And yet this week we are debating both the Tuam situation and this situation here of Grace, about how she was treated and about how other girls and mothers have been treated. When we think of the name of Grace, I know I always thought that the name Grace meant blessed in some way, and it's a name that you feel that a child is full of grace and is going to have a lot of positivity and a lot of blessings in their lives, but certainly not this Grace. And, you know, it's just incredible to believe that a young woman such as Grace could have remained with a family for more than 20 years, despite repeated allegations and evidence of physical and sexual abuse. And these include black eyes, bruising, carpet burns, and also alleged defrauding of money. Grace went years without any medical attention. Her general appearance was described, and people took the time to describe it as poor and as chaotic. I certainly believe that the terms of the reference of this inquiry should be expanded to include the cases of the 46 other people, other children who were placed with this foster family, and we do know that at least 4 of them have alleged that they were abused while staying with the foster family. And very specifically, the Divine report has related to that. Grace's mother herself sought files from the HSE under the Freedom of Information Act, but was denied them for 2 years. She deserves answers. We all deserve answers. When, how, and how often was the home monitored? Did the HSE suppress or hide information about the facts of her case? Why was the 1996 decision to move Grace overturned? And why did it take another 13 years for her to be moved to a residential placement? State agencies failed in their job to keep vulnerable people safe, and whistleblowers were ignored. The people charged with protecting Grace failed to discharge their duty of care to her, and at this point in time, apologies are not enough to Grace, to her mother, to her family, and to all of the other children and all of the other Graces. Yes, we need to get the Commission up and running straight away, and absolutely we need to ensure there is never another Grace. When I was elected here over a year ago, I promised my own constituents in Kildare South that I would be a voice for the vulnerable and those who didn't have a voice and those who could not make their voice loud enough. And I couldn't think of any other situation where I would want to say something only for Grace. There is a group that I'm presently involved with called the Care Leavers Network, and Shane Griffin, a young man from Kildare who went through 19 care homes, and Wayne Dignam are doing incredible work in terms of identifying the gaps and the challenges for those 6,644 children that are presently in care in Ireland. And they're also working with EPIC to make sure that we can try to address those, that we put more supports in place, and also for those in care once they leave 18, because all of a sudden they're cast out onto the big bad world without any level of support for them. I want to acknowledge, and I think it's important here, to acknowledge all of those really good foster parents that are out there giving wonderful homes to many of those 6,644. We need to have the very best of foster parents to be able to cater for children in very challenging situations and to be able to afford them the emotional, financial and supportive environment that they need to be in, many of them having had a lot of trauma at a very early age. Minister, I think that the work that you're doing is very welcome, and I know that you are extremely well intentioned in this. I think that, as I've said, I think we need to expand to include the others. If the situation arises that that is not the case, I think we absolutely need to have an ironclad agreement and commitment from you and from the Government that as soon as the case of Grace is openly and transparently dealt with and recommendations are made, that carries on for all of the other Graces that we have.